and welcome to Play Hooky with me. My name is Roz, and in today's video I'm going to share how to make this strawberry and flower granny square. First I'll share a bit about measurements, and then we'll get straight into the strawberry and flower appliques, followed by how to make a solid granny square. At the very end I'll share some tips on how to attach everything together too. Alright, sound good? Great, let's play some hooky. For the squares that you see here, I'm working with a sport weight or a DK. This is Stylecraft Special DK and requires a 4mm hook. And I usually like to go down to about a 3.5 for mine. So with that hook size and weight yarn, this came out to about 4 by 4 inches. With the single crochet border that I added, it did grow it to about a 4.5 by 4.5 square. The strawberry that you see here is about 2.5 inches. And the flower is about 2. If you want this to be bigger or work up faster for you, then I would recommend going up to a worsted or an Aran style yarn, and that usually requires a 5 to 6mm hook. To begin, we're going to make a magic circle or a magic ring. If you don't like doing that, you can do a chain 4 with a slip stitch to form a ring. To do a magic ring, we're going to wrap the yarn around our fingers, going through the center, pull the yarn through, create a chain to secure. If you did the chain 4 with a slip stitch, go ahead and chain 3 now. That's going to serve as your first double crochet. I've already done a chain 1. I'm going to do 2 more, and that will be my first double crochet. We want to make 12 double crochets in total. This is our first one, so now we're going to do 11 more right into the center. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, double crochet. We've done 2, so let's do 10 more. 1 more, 12. Pull on the tail to tighten and form your circle. To close, going into the top of your chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Create a slip stitch to close. Chain 1, that's going to give us some wiggle room for round 2. And now we're going to form our strawberry with these 12 stitches. To begin, half double crochet into the first stitch. In the next stitch, 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the next stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet and a single crochet, both in the same stitch. Half double crochet, single crochet. In the next stitch, 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, 1 single crochet. Now we're going to work our point. We're going to do a half double crochet and a double crochet in the next stitch. Half double and a double. And there's our point. Now we're going to repeat this sequence but in reverse order to get back to the top. So in the next stitch, do a double crochet and a half double, both in the same stitch. Single crochet in that next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. Now a single crochet and a half double crochet in the next stitch together. We're back to the other side. We're going to form that nice round edge there with 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the final stitch, half double crochet, and you've made your strawberry. And as you can see, this could also work really well for a heart applique, so just keep that in the back of your mind for future. Now you can be finished here if you want a smaller strawberry, but for the one that you see here, I'm doing a round 3. We're going to be doing single crochets all the way around, but we are going to be doing an increase on the points. So here, here, and here. Working into that very first half double crochet that we made, do a single crochet to get started. Single crochet, single crochet, and then here in the top of that third double crochet, I'm going to do an increase. 2 single crochets. Working around, single crochet in each stitch. I'm at the point, we have 2 double crochets here, and I'm just going to put my increase over here on the second double crochet. And then just continue all the way around. I'm coming back up to those double crochets, and I'm going to put my increase in the second double crochet as I'm working my way back up. Okay, continue on. There's my half double crochet from the previous round. Add a single crochet to that, and we're done. And then I'm just going to slip stitch to close. And I would recommend a nice long tail because you can use that for attaching your applique. To make the leaves, I'm just going to be working with chains and then just build the shape with single crochets, half doubles, and doubles. If you want to see a more detailed video on leaves and flowers, I'll go ahead and add a little card here in the video so you can check that out. Start with a slip knot on your hook. I'm just going to make 3 leaves here. I'm going to begin with a chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to make the point of our leaf, so skipping that first chain from the hook, working into the second one, do a single crochet. In the next chain, a half double, and you can play with this. This is just, I'm making it up as I go along. Double in the next chain. See, we have 2 left. Let's do a half double and then a single crochet in that very final chain. And there's our first leaf. We're going to make 3, so you can do chain 5 or chain 6, whatever you feel like. I'm going to do another chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Working into the second chain from the hook, single crochet, half double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, half double, and a single. And then I'm going to do a slip stitch into the base of that chain there to pull it together. There's our second one done. Let's do one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's stick to 5. Let's make a smaller one just for fun. Working into the second chain, let's do a single crochet, half double in the next, double in the next, and then I'm just going to finish with a half double and pull that into that same spot to finish. And if you don't like that, then just go back up to that chain 6. And then I'm going to use that tail to tighten things up here and attach to the strawberry. To work the center, we're going to do 12 single crochets. I'm going to use a magic ring or a magic circle for this. If you don't like to do that, then I would recommend a chain 3 or 4 with a slip stitch to close. Wrap the yarn around your finger, go through the center, pull the yarn through, create a chain to close. I'm not going to count that as my first single crochet. I'm just going to continue on with 12 single crochets now. Pull on your tail to close, and then a slip stitch in that very first chain to form your circle. Go ahead and weave in your end, and then you're ready for round 2. So for the petals, we're making 6 petals. Create a slip knot on your hook. Again, make sure that you have 12 stitches that you can easily work into. Fasten on wherever you like. Create a slip stitch. Chain 3. This is going to serve as your first double crochet. Now within that same stitch, let's do 3 more doubles to create our petal. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 3. This is the final side of your petal. Going into that same stitch, form a slip stitch to finish. Working into the next stitch, just do a slip stitch. Working into the next stitch, slip stitch again. Or if you like, you can do a single crochet. It's completely up to you. Chain 3, we're starting the same sequence again. 3 double crochets into the center there. 1, 2, 3. Or I should say in the same stitch, not in the center. You know what I mean. Okay, and then chain 3. This is the final part of your petal here, and working into that same stitch, do a slip stitch. And this is what you're going to do all the way around. You're going to then go into the next stitch and do a slip stitch. Going into the next stitch, we're doing another petal. So basically you're skipping a stitch in between your petals, and that's why you'll be working 6 petals and 6 slip stitches all the way around. Chain 3. Just continue this all the way around. And then when you're finished with all of your petals, go ahead and do a slip stitch to complete. For the leaves, I'm just going to do what I did for the strawberry, but instead of making 3 leaves, I'm just going to make 2. To get started, we're going to do a magic circle or a magic ring. If you do not like doing them, like I always say, just start with a chain 4 with a slip stitch to close. Once you've done that, go ahead and chain 3. But I'm going to go ahead and do a magic circle, pulling the yarn through the center, create a chain to close. Since I've already done 1 chain, I'm going to do 2 more. That's going to serve as my first double crochet. So we're going to be starting our first round with double crochets and then treble crochets in the corner. Now, just a little tip here, if you don't like working with treble crochets, you don't have to. You can do everything with double crochets. I'll go ahead and add a visual here for you to see the difference between the two. With the treble crochets, it does form more of a square shape, but again, once you're finished with this, it's not that noticeable. I will show you with treble crochets for this tutorial though. 2 more doubles for now to make our first set of 3 double crochets. 2, 3. Okay, we've done our first 3 double crochets. We're going to start our first corner. Now we're going to do a treble crochet. That's 2 times around your hook, going in, pulling through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Treble crochet. Now we're going to do 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. We did our first 3 double crochets. In that treble crochet, add a stitch marker. We did our 3 doubles. Let's do a treble. This is our next corner that we're making. Okay, let's go ahead and add that stitch marker. 3 doubles. This is essentially the side of your square or your granny. Okay. Keep tugging on that tail just to help me out a little bit here. Okay. Now we do another treble. That's our 3rd corner. 3 more doubles. Okay, now we do our final corner with another treble. And add our little stitch marker. Okay, and we're all finished. We've made our square. Working into the top of the chain 3, go ahead and do a slip stitch. Now for the rest of your square, you're going to do the same sequence. You're going to be working double crochets on the sides, and whenever you reach a stitch corner, that's when you're going to actually be doing 5 double crochets, or 2 double crochets, a treble, and 2 double crochets. But regardless, you're going to have 5 stitches within that corner. And to begin your round, you can either do a chain 3 or you can do what is like a standing stitch, but we're just going to do it without fastening on and off. Let me just show you how that looks. You're just going to pull your yarn up to about the size of a double crochet. Now this is a bit fiddly, especially if you work like I do underhanded or like I'm holding it like a pencil. But what your goal is to wrap around your hook to make it look like you have 2 loops on your hook. So going into that same stitch, pull the yarn through. You should have something that looks like 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And if you like the look of that, that can replace your chain 3. Like I said, it's a little fiddly, but it does look really nice. And then just continue on. Double, double. We've reached a corner. You can either do 5 double crochets or 2 doubles, 1 treble, 2 doubles. I'm going to do 2 double crochets, treble, and 2 doubles. Sometimes I just do double crochets all the way around just for speed. But this way definitely does give more shape. And then at the very top of your treble, go ahead and put a stitch marker there. That'll make it so much easier when you start the next round. Now we're back to the side, 3 double crochets. We've reached another corner. So we need to put 5 stitches into it. 2 doubles. A treble. Double. Double. Stitch marker into the top of that treble. And just continue this all the way around. And then when you've reached the end, just do a slip stitch at the top to finish. And that's all you're going to do, around and around and around. You're just going to do double crochets on the sides, and then when you reach that stitch marker, you're going to do your 5 stitches within it. I'll show you again how to do that standing stitch, but again, if you don't like doing this, just do a chain 3, holding onto that yarn, wrap around your hook, going back into that same stitch, pull your yarn through. This gives the appearance of 3 loops on your hook. Now just treat it like a double crochet. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then continue on. And then just slip stitch to close. And that's all there is to the square. I stopped after 4 rounds with this square because I noticed that the bigger the square gets, you start getting that slide of the square or the shifting. It does start to do that circulating. The only way that you can avoid that is by flipping your work back and forth, and then that way it will stay nice and straight for you. I wasn't too bothered about that because I'm going to be hiding that sliding effect with an embellishment or with an applique, but if that is a concern for you, then I would recommend flipping your work after every round. After I finished my 4 rounds, I did add a round of single crochets, and to do that, you can just chain 1 if you want to do it in the same color. And then just continue on. That chain 1 can serve as your first single crochet, and then just continue all the way around. I add 3 single crochets wherever there's a stitch marker just to help me get around that bend. If you want to do it with a switching of colors, then I would just add a slip knot to the hook and then just go in to any stitch and create a single crochet and then continue all the way around. And like I said, don't forget to add 3 single crochets in those corner spots. And if you find that that's still curling up on you, you can add 5 single crochets to get around that bend. For adding your appliques to your squares, I just have a couple of tips here. The main one I would recommend is working on the surface of your square, not going all the way through, because one of my pet peeves of mine is seeing the embroidery or the attachment on the other side. I don't like that. So what I do is I make sure not to do that by working on the surface of the square instead. I like to use the tails that I have on the appliques already because you're not going to see them because they're going to be underneath. But if you're worried about the stitches catching your attention, then I would recommend also that you just work with a matching color, the same as the square that you're working with. For example, if I was wanting to attach this flower to this square, then I would just take and use this matching yarn to do it. But I like to utilize the tails that I have left over from the square, and you can do that closer to the center of the work so then you won't see it on the other side. This is what I did with this one. I just used the white, and then here I used the green. And then here for the strawberries, I just used the tails. And as you can see, it's not eye-catching at all. For attaching, I just try to get as close to the edge as I can without being on the edge. I don't really like the look of stitches along the edge, so I go just under it to where it's a little bit camouflaged. Just picking up the surface of those stitches. I just start attaching. Like I said, if you use the matching color, then if you do go through, it doesn't really matter. And then I just pull from the back and then just work my way around. I'm not going to attach the whole thing here because I think you get the idea. I just wanted to show you how I pull the stitches through the top and then just sort of at the edge, and then just do that all the way around. I hope you got some value from this video, and if you did, a like is always appreciated. If you're interested in learning how to join these squares, I'll go ahead and add a link to a video here of some of my favorite joining techniques.